Hi, welcome to Taji's World of Books, and welcome to the final part 3 of my Cora Reilly deep dive. Hey you guys, welcome back. So I figured what I would do is I've already done 2 videos on the Cora Reilly Mafia saga, and I figured I would just do the last video just to wrap everything up so you guys have all the information that I have hot off the press. Okay, so my first video was on the Born by Blood saga, my second video was on the Cora Chronicles, the spin-off, and the last video that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the last 2 standalone that fit into the Syndicate world, and then I think I'll wrap up with just saying here is the recommended ideal reading order of these books so that you will not spoil anything like I did, and you will have the best reading experience and you'll be so happy and you'll love everything that's coming from here. And Cora Reilly has a lot of really cool things planned for the children of these characters that are going to be coming out very shortly. I'm super excited to hear about them. I'm super excited to hear about a couple of the brothers of characters that are in these books that we haven't heard of or haven't heard from yet. I'm most excited about Sam and Emma, and Sam is the brother of Serafina, the twin from the Chicago outfit that got stolen by Ramo Falcone and is now with Las Vegas. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up. Okay, so let's just start here. Sweet Temptation, this is a standalone novel. This is an age gap. It is a dark romance. It is a mafia, romance. So this is basically the story of Cassio, and Cassio is an underboss and is associated as an underboss with the Familia. So his boss or his capo is Luca, okay? And so the story starts off with his wife dying, and he needs a new wife basically to care for his young children. He's got an infant and a 3-year-old son. And so they basically set him up with Julia, and Julia at the time is only I don't know, 16. She's a little girl, she's young, so he has to wait for her to come of age, I think. And so basically when she's not 16. She's young though. She's much younger than him. So he's in his 30s and she's 8. He won't marry her until she's 18. So maybe it's only some months that he has to wait. So he goes ahead and marries Julia. Let me say that Cassio pisses me off because Cassio is an asshole. Cassio, and not in a good way, asshole. He basically wants, and Julia calls him out on it, but Julia is so kind. Where I want to see groveling and where I want to see him kick to his ass and make him work for it is in this book, and they didn't do it. In any other book, I don't like groveling, and I don't like, instances where the heroine really puts the guy through the ringer, but he needed to get put through the ringer because he basically wanted a nanny and somebody who he could screw. And Julia gives in to him, but she holds him to task, but not enough. Cassio is just a jerk, and I get that the story had to be set up this way because he went through a lot with his first wife, and she was just a terrible person and manipulated him in many ways. And so I think if Julia would have held him to task, he would have taken it as a sign that she was being like his first wife. So Julia needed to acquiesce to him in many ways, but she falls into the role of caring for his kids and taking care of his life and getting things organized when she's never cared for kids, never had any exposure. She's a mafia princess. She doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't know how to do any of that, and she just falls right on in. And I don't know that he appreciates it in the way that I would have liked him to. Now the story unfolds in terms of you get to find out, because there's a rumor that's happening that Cassio killed his wife because she died under very mysterious circumstances. So you get to find out what exactly happened and why he reacts and responds in the way that he does. He puts her through tests. He puts her in these situations that I just think are shitty, and I just think he's a crappy guy. And I did not like at all every other character in all of these books, because these are all mafia romances, right? So they're all virgin brides and and these bad dudes, right? And every other guy on the wedding night did what he needed to do to make sure that his bride was safe and protected. And Cassio, I felt like was a shit. I felt like because Luca said, do whatever you need to do, but I need to see bloody sheets, and I don't care how you get bloody sheets, Cassio felt a lot of pressure to give them what they wanted, which is bloody sheets. And while he was careful and protected her, he was a shit. He was just a shit. I just didn't like him. And I don't think I'll ever, even at the end, he was such a shit through most of it that by the time he redeemed himself, he didn't redeem himself enough for me. So I don't like Cassio. That's all I have to say. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. This book was a mess for me. I just wasn't thrilled, and I don't want to see any more mafia dudes like him. I didn't like him. And the other thing that ticked me, well, let me not, that's spoilers. I'm not going to give you spoilers. I just didn't like Cassio. Okay, so then this book is another standalone. This is Fragile Longing. And so as I started off and said I was getting ahead of myself. So remember that Serafina has been promised to Danilo. And she's been promised to Danilo forever. But then Remo Falcone comes in and kidnaps her and takes her off. And so then that becomes Twisted Pride, right? So this is then what happens to Danilo. So Danilo is left to have to recover. And remember, you know, Danilo, then they say, okay, fine. So then they promise him to Sophia, Serafina's younger sister. And so also in this book, then Sam is promised to Danilo's sister. He's like, this is what I require to happen. And so Sam is like, how am I going to marry her? She's in a wheelchair. So like, I can't, she's paralyzed. Am I ever going to be able to have heirs? So he's basically pissed off. So I'm really excited to see Sam and Emma's book. Sam and Emma's book, because their weddings are 2 weeks apart. They get married first, then Sam and Emma get married. And so we don't know what's happening with Sam and Emma other than that Sam is pissed that he has to marry Emma. So I'm so excited to get that book, and I think we're 2 publications away. There's another story she's going to publish first, then we get Sam and Emma's book. Okay, back to this. So then Sophia knows at the end of, you know, Twisted Pride or whatever, like, or one of these books over here, that Danilo doesn't really want to marry her. And so this whole family has to heal from the ordeal of Twisted Pride. The whole family has to heal. Sophia gets sort of pushed to the side, and her feelings are not taken into account. She's not allowed to feel the way that she feels. She's not allowed to grieve the loss of her sister. She's thrust in to marry the man that was supposed to, you know, marry her sister, knowing that he doesn't really want her, that he wants her sister. So for the years, because it's an age gap romance, for the years that she's waiting to marry him, all she sees is him engaging in behaviors that demonstrates he's still pining for Serafina. So Sophia's pissed. And so she's like, you know what? She gets to a point where she's just like, I'm done. If you want me, you're going to have to demonstrate that you want me and that you're here. He didn't pine enough for me. He didn't grovel enough because he's an asshole in this book, Danilo. But also Danilo we needed to give Danilo the space to heal because it was a shock to him as well. So there's a lot of trauma that everybody is supposed to just get over and do business as usual, and they don't do it. And as a result, they engage in a lot of bad behaviors as a result, and they probably should have done more to allow people to overcome what happened in Twisted Pride, because Twisted Pride fucked everybody up. Everybody. It's almost like throwing a rock in the water and there's ripples, right? So you know that the initial splash is what happened in Twisted Pride, but the ripple effect is everything that happens here and what that all means for everybody. So this is, all in all, I thought that this was done well. So this is a 4 out of 5 star. I loved being in the world again and hearing, you know, what's going on. And like I said, I cannot wait to hear what's going to happen in the next couple of books. There is so much that is going to come up. She's got like several, 2 more spin-off series that are going to be the joining of the Familia with the Las Vegas syndicate, so more of that to come, and then more with the Chicago outfit and how that all fits in, and I'm super excited. I can't wait. But like, so let's do this. At this point, I think the thing that I want to say right now is how to read these books, because there definitely is a way that you should read them. And so this is how Cora Reilly suggests that you do it. I had a difficult time trying to find that, so I sort of read the way that Goodreads said, and don't do that. So I'm going to tell you how to do it, and you're going to love me for it. Start with Bound by Honor, then go to Luca Vitiello's story, because that's from his POV, so you get to see what happens in Bound by Honor, but you hear it from his perspective. Then you go to Bound by Duty. This is Valentina and Dante Caviello's story. Then Bound by Hatred. Then you go to Bound by Temptation, Bound by Vengeance, Bound by Love. Then read Twisted Loyalties. Then read Twisted Emotion. Then read Sweet Temptation. Then read Twisted Pride. Then read Bound by the Past. Twisted Bonds. Twisted Hearts. Then read Fragile Longing. Then read Bound by Blood Anthology. And then finally read Twisted Cravings. And if you read them in that order, then you will have a perfect reading experience. You will be ready for the next book that's going to be published at the end of 2021. Go on Cora Reilly's website and you'll get to see, and she also has a Facebook page called Cora's Flamingos, and there you can get all the updates in terms of everything that she's got planned, the next books that are coming out, new characters, new storylines, new plot lines, spin-off series for the kids of this. So I think if you do that, you're gonna have the best experience. Okay, you guys, you know that I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and like my videos and come hang out with me. Bye, guys.